So now we go into our lovely portion called the hang jury. A last discussion that, well, we discussed. So picture this. You submit some code to an open source project. It's clean, it works, and yet it's rejected. Not for being buggy, but mostly just because you prompted a AI to write it, aka vibe coding. That's what happened this week on Codeberg, a European alternate to GitHub that's run by for well, I can't talk today. That's run by and for free and open source software. The members just voted 358 to 4 or 144, basically 75 to 25, or
Mm.
3 to 1, to ban what they're calling vibe coded projects, not low quality code, not malicious code, just code that where the human contribution was just mostly pressing enter on the AI's output. Their argument isn't that AI code is bad, it's that one person with an AI tool can spin up a project that burns as much server space and commute is an entire community effort with zero actual users, zero people maintaining it, and no one ever coming back to fix anything. They call it the development team of none. One person, a statistical machine, and a ghost protocol that just sits there using resources forever. They also banned any Codeberg data to train AI models because AI companies crawlers hammer the servers reading every single page variant and Git history entry just because or just instead of doing a normal download. So is a nonprofit telling developers they can't use AI tools a reasonable stance for the open source community? Or is this just gatekeeping by people who should just get over themselves? Let's discuss.
Yeah, I brought that story because it's something I've been thinking about. Um, I use Codeberg stuff. I don't use Codeberg directly, but I use for like their software basically. It's called Forge. Um, and from me personally, I looked at this and I saw those changes. And I mean, on one hand, you can say, well, I mean, it is a community deciding what they want to do, right? This is a it's a community project, like in Germany, it's a group. So they can decide what they want to host and what they don't want to host. But on the other hand, I think, I mean, the reality is vibe coded projects have their value and for the people who are creating them and they're fun and whatever.
Mhm.
And they're basically telling people, you're not the right kind of developer, go away, which is
Yeah.
incredibly hostile. So that's why
Mhm.
I thought I wanted to have your opinions on this topic.
All right. I look at this from the perspective of someone who came out of printing and publishing
Mm-hmm.
industry many years ago, and as I was learning everything I needed to know to be able to work in that industry, I had to learn about what was happening before I really got into that,
Mm-hmm.
which means
Mhm.
going back to that golden triangle of democratizing publishing, the
Mm-hmm.
desktop publishing revolution, where we got the Macintosh, Aldous PageMaker, and Adobe PostScript,
Mm-hmm.
and that took the publishing industry and the design industry and changed it from something that is exclusively for the highly trained experts
Mm-hmm.
and opened it up so that any of us can make something and then print it.
Yeah.
And uh, and it it made this accessible to so many more people, but at the same time it created the vibe coding version of creating documents for
Mm-hmm.
publishing.
Yeah.
Like routinely we'd get an Excel document where each cell was a business card,
Oh yes,
and they
seen that.
wanted you to print that on a with spot colors on a press. Okay, well, the file is literally unusable for anything
Yeah.
in the printing industry. But people didn't understand. And you get stuff like this, or they get a copy of Quark Express or PageMaker, and then later InDesign. And they would design a document and expect you to print it and then get angry when you have to, instead of vibe coding it, you have to go back and look at what they want and rebuild it from scratch for them.
Mm.
So when I look at what we're seeing here, okay, yeah, this is a very hostile approach towards developers, but I can also appreciate why there would be the resistance because they don't want Excel spreadsheets for business cards, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line to walk,
Yeah.
and telling people, hey, don't vibe code, I think that's wrong. There's
Yeah.
so many things we can do ourselves that we
Yes.
couldn't do before, and good for
Yep.
us.
Yeah. I literally have a project that you could call I vibe coded because it is an experiment where I wanted to not touch the code. So it would
Mhm.
not be allowed on their platform. Even though I'm a capable developer and I'll maintain it, and now I've actually maintained it, it's on GitHub. I've maintained it for a couple of years now. I started, about 2 years ago with that.
Mhm.
So, and it's being used and so on. So I think it's but it wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah, I'm from the camp that says get over themselves. This has not just happened in this industry; it's happened in other industries, as Jeff, tried to point out. And I tried to come up with this is, a parallel kind of story, and Jeff did a much better job of sharing that and sharing that dilemma. If this is a nonprofit organization,
It
I
is.
think is what I read.
Yep.
I don't know what nonprofit laws they fall under, but I think this type of exclusion of a nonprofit organization, at least in the States, would cause a lot of ire, and potentially jeopardize their nonprofit
Yeah.
status.
I would have to check. They're falling under German law. They're German
Yeah.
group. So could be. Yeah.
So
Chuck?
I'm sort of torn on this.
Yeah.
I sort of see their point, and so there's one piece of the puzzle that I don't have, and that is who is paying for the server space and the bandwidth. Because if it's being cluttered up by if the server space especially is being cluttered up by vibe coded apps that are not being used, they're just sitting there because somebody said, "Oh, I can vibe code an app that will, turn your screen purple."
Yeah.
That's I understand that. But I also, look at the other part and it's like, okay, so by telling people they can't put vibe coded apps up there, you're potentially depriving an audience that prides itself in sharing
Yep.
a potentially useful option. Now, that means you're going to get into judging. Is my purple screen app, viable or not? I don't know if you allow stuff to be put up there and then after a period of time, if it only has X number of downloads, that you say, sorry,
Yeah.
this just is not worthy of being part of the community.
Yeah. That would have been reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see both sides, but
Yeah.
the vote would indicate that these people are thinking more with their hearts than their heads.
Yeah.
Is the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
There's a false equivalency in this too. They're saying, well, people will vibe code, put stuff up there and never come back and fix it. And that's a problem. Like developers don't
Yes.
do that already.
Exactly.
GitHub all the time.
Yes.
And
I mean, there's projects I've
so-
created and then just abandoned. Like that happens. Yeah. No, you're right. To answer your question, Chuck, because I looked into that, it's being paid by the community members and some supporters, right? So like they're paying for it more or less themselves. So in a sense, you can say, well, okay, they can also decide what they pay for. But
Absolutely.
But yeah,
as long as it doesn't violate their nonprofit status.
well,
That's
that is true, or it doesn't violate what they think is reasonable, right? I mean, that's also.
Mhm.
Yep. I will say this. I generally agree with Chuck on this, but like it or not, vibe coding is a portion of the future of development.
Yes.
To completely ignore it and try to not make it better is to their, and the rest of the development community's detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, that exact same statement has come up so many times in the printing and publishing industry all those years ago. And in many cases, it was the letter set experts that were pushing back like very aggressively against the desktop publishing world. The ones in that space that learned how to use PageMaker and Quark Express at
Like
the
me.
time, like you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were the ones that continued on in the industry and had and were much better at this than other people because they had a deeper understanding of how all the pieces really work.
Yeah.
And the ones that were like, nope, not going to do it, and this is wrong. You should never use PageMaker, which is a totally different discussion. And all the designers out there are laughing right now.
Yes.
But the ones that were completely resistant and drew that hard line and said never, they were the ones that ultimately were like, well, crap, I got to go find a job.
Yep.
Because they were out of
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say this. There's a very similar line between traditional media and us back in the day in new media. They hated us because we didn't fit in their nice little box.
Yeah. And I have on InSpace a whole community of people right now that are vibe coding in different levels, right? There's developers or people in, let's say, the ID industry that have some experience. There's people that have, I mean, they all have some tech like interest because otherwise they wouldn't have the Vision Pro. But like very different levels. But I think all of that is valid, and it's really interesting to see the things that they're creating. And that's why I lean on the side to say this is hostile, because I mean, yes, it is their decision, but I think it's also hostile. It's the typical exclusionary like group mentality that we get in the IT industry, where it's like you are not the right kind of developer, and that's why I'm not accepting you.
And how many of those?
Yes.
And how many of those vibe coders will get the coding bug and want to learn like Swift or C++?
Yes, exactly. There will be some that start that way and then move on and learn and grow. And there will be some that, oh, okay, scratch the itch, okay, next and move on. That's pretty typical. Like that's how everybody, like some people when it got into development and some people scripted a little bit and then were like, yeah, it's not my thing and just moved on. It's the same path. Right.
Okay, so this is going to be a little controversial, but why not?
Why not?
So
is
this an opportunity?
Sells.
Yeah, is this not an opportunity for the vibe coders to say, okay, fine, you don't want us, we're going to go over here, and by the way, don't you come knocking on our door when you want in?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
true.
and so in some ways maybe this is healthy, because maybe the vibe coders will be. Maybe the vibe coders are not the future, but they're an important part of the future. Ben, to your point, like the digital media was to the world as it is today, and the old guard has had to bend a lot because of the new media.
Yeah,
well, the old guard is dying,
and that could happen as well.
The old guard is, I mean, I grant you, they're very ill. I don't know if it's terminal yet or not, but
yeah.
Okay. Good.